Coast of New South Wales. Welcome to today's Hooray, it's Thursday. Today we're looking at a blend of sunrise sailing and along these lines. Now you might be thinking, oh, that's an unusual combination, but I'm going to see if we can make them work together. So we'll just pop over so you can see my screen here. And what we're going to be looking at, we want to sort of see if we can get a bit of a style infusion, a bit of mixed art style with these two, because as you can see, they're both very different. The finished project can be used for encouragement, birthdays, retirement, all those sorts of things. So it's just going to be a matter of playing with it. All right, so what I've got, the Sunrise Sailing Bundle, you saw what we made last week. This is the card that we made last week. If you haven't seen it yet, go and check out that video, okay? And that'll show you all those textures and stuff like that. So it'll give you a good introduction to the embossing folder, which we're not going to use this week. Actually, hold that thought. We might use this week. We'll see. I've got something in my head because I have been away and I wanted to play with it because it has this really cool whale and it has a dolphin. And I've been up at Port Macquarie. So we went and we saw whales, we saw dolphins, and I thought, what a nice way to use this, to remember my trip. So I brought over some basics when it comes to cardstock colours. I've got my envelope, I've got my card in it. I did bring a couple of pieces of, this is Coastal Cabana and Night of Navy. It is the two-tone, as you can see, the two-tone paper that has got a white core. It's got a light side on one side, and this is just regular cardstock because I couldn't figure out who I was going to use as my background piece, like so my border. And then we've got a white card. So these ones I'll just pop aside. I've also got my scrap container beside me because I will be ferreting back through it again. Now, I know there's a bone folder here somewhere. All right, so this is just your regular card size. Okay, welcome everyone. It's good to start seeing people jump on. Right, this is just our regular card size that I've cut in half. So A4 cut in half to make my card base. And that's just, I cut all of my, let's call them mats. It's 1/2 centimetre smaller. Ooh, okay. Which gives you a little bit more, and that's probably not the greatest, 1/2 centimetre smaller. Let's see if it works on this one a bit better. Maybe my cutting was a bit off. I'm thinking my cutting might have been a bit off when I was cutting my thick basic white. To cut it in half, it's 14.8 centimetres. So it's, as you can imagine, it's sort of, it's just like, you know, you've got to be able to get it sweet. All right, so that means that you can see how that fits just that little bit better around that one. Just gives you a little tiny border all the way around. So that's 1/2 centimetre smaller all around. So I've cut this, these are at 14.4 by 10. And then my white I cut at 13.9 by 9.5, just so that you know. Essentially I'm taking off 1/2 centimetre. If you're over in the States, just take off 1/4 inch for each layer. All right. These ones are cut the same as my mats because I wanted to have a bit of movement with them. All right. So we will start by doing a little bit of blending. I hadn't cleaned up anything from last week, so it's just something for you to be aware of. And I've only used one stamp in this so far. So we're going to do a bit of layering, a little bit of playing. I think we'll use the whale. We could probably use both actually. Use the whale, and then I might bring the dolphin in as well because they were sort of playing together, for want of a better way of putting it. Oh, you're not going to fit that way. You need to go across. Okay. And I'm going to use, out of here, I really like these water, right? The water stamps. The sailing boat's not going to work for what I'm trying to do, but just looking at the texture on here, I think that that will work because I'm going to do a little bit of tearing as well. All right. So I'm thinking that we'll have water that's going to come up about halfway up. And I was quite impressed with the color changes of the sky and where you know, your horizon, where your water ended and all that sort of stuff. So I didn't bring over Coastal Climate, but I brought over Balmy Blue. Right. So I'm just going to do a little bit of, I do have my, this is cloud cover. I do have my cloud cover with me, so I can do a bit of that as well. I'm just going to wipe it a bit on the glass mat just to give me a bit of where I like, so it's not as you don't get your lines as such. Okay, everybody does this different. Some people just, you know, straight across and back. Balmy Blue is a very, very pale color, so it'll take a little bit to get it to come up, and you know what, I'm okay with that. All right. Okay, I'm just going across. And the reason why I'm doing it in this middle pit here is because that's essentially where my, in this case, whale is going to land. Okay, because this is going to be swimming across and over the sea. All right. And he's going to be off in the horizon, which is essentially along that line. Now, that's really hard for you guys to see if I'm looking at my screen there, but you can see if it's fuzzy. If I bring it up close, you can see that there's that very slight hue there. All right, add a little bit of cloud cover just to make it so that there's a little bit of variation. Okay. Now, I'm going to be brave and I'm just going to go straight ahead and stamp. And the first thing I'm going to stamp is my whale. And I'm actually going to stamp him in Memento. The reason I'm using Memento is because I want him to stand out. He's a really pretty stamp. Okay. And there was more than one, but that's right. So he's just going to go there. Now, it looks like you've got a line missing. There is a plain line for you in here so that you can keep it going. My suggestion is that you put it on your mat, not on paper, just on your mat, and add it to your block that way. Okay. Now you'll notice that there's all these little gaps in your lines. I'd say follow suit because you don't necessarily need that line to join. The other thing that you can do is that you can add extra lines. Okay, so just keep that in mind. All right. Now, I do have in here another piece of cardstock, but I'm just thinking in my scraps, and I was just looking at the size of my dolphin, I reckon that he's going to fit on here. So let's give him a try and see if we can convince him to fit on here. Nice. Okay, and again, I'm going to do another line because I don't know where I'm going to cut this guy yet. And I'm not sure, so I just want to give myself options. Okay, so he's going to be a layer. All right, I'll just pop that aside. Now, I was just sort of looking at them and I thought, oh, they're really cute, but how cool will they look coloured? So I've used our Memento, which is a water-based ink. So you will need Stampin' Blends if you decide that you're going to colour these guys. They were really quite amazing. They were quite black. They were quite white. Depending on how you colour this guy, you can look like a killer whale. This is the black. This one's, there is a light and there is a dark. So just so you know, okay. I'm going to colour him. This is the light. So I'll give him the light up the top. Because it was like he was shiny. And I'm going to, it's almost, this one's going to look almost like a killer whale, I reckon. But we were seeing humpbacks as they migrated north. There was one crazy dude that was coming south, but I don't know what he was thinking. Might have been a her, but a bit early in the season for them to come south. So even the guy on the boat was quite surprised. So I'll just colour that guy in. But I'm going to leave a couple of the white dots. All right. So we'll do. I might use a pointy end here, just to add a little bit of, because that bit's underneath there. So, has anyone else ever been up to Port Macquarie? It's really pretty. For those that watch me overseas, it's a nice place to visit if you come to Australia. They have really good whale watching at this time of the year. Lots of things to do. We did lots of visiting of op shops and things like that. This is the colour lifter, or I call it colour shover, but the colour lifter. So if I go in between these bits here and just push some of that ink around, it'll just give my whale a bit more of a motley colour, because it pushes that ink to the back. So make sure you haven't got anything behind you when you're doing this. But it makes it blend a little bit differently. And then what I've got here is smoky slate. So I'm just going to bring a little bit of smoky slate over the top of that now, just so that that area is not white as such. And you can see how my whale has now got an exceptional amount of texture. Because they did. And they were really cool. But like, so if I bring him up closer to you, you can see he's now all textured. And where's my light? So you can just keep going over the top until you're happy with him. Okay. Whoopsie. Whoopsie is never good when you're colouring in, is it? All right, I'll just come back in with my light again. Okay, and that's my whale. And my dolphin, I'm actually going to do him just in our smoky slate. Same deal though. I'm going to leave some of those little bits of the squiggles of him. I'm going to leave them white. So we've got a little bit of colouring with our blends as well. All right. Just pop those back to the side. I'm going to add a little bit of the balmy blue to him too, just so that he's not white. Because although the water did have nice white, crusty, wavy things happening, it wasn't white. But it wasn't bright like it was really quite dark. It was actually quite amazing, the colour. And depending on the depth of the water depended on your colour. So I'm just adding a little bit of, just taking the white off a bit. Okay, so just to add a little bit of colour there. So now essentially I've got a couple of layers. So what am I going to do in between these? See what I mean about wanting them in different spots? What am I going to do in between these layers? So in the dies for our smooth sailing, there's these really cool guys. These two. And they look like waves, and they look, well, that's what they're meant to look like. They look like waves, and they got bubbles on them, and I just think that they're super cool. So we're going to have play with those. All right. And we might even have a nice white fluffy cloud, just because we can, because I'll let it be white. You know how it is. Don't mind me. I do, that's one of the things about, I guess, being a demonstrator. Everybody expects you to sort of have lots of stuff, and I do have lots of stuff, but I am picky about what lots of stuff I get. So I have a tendency to try and get things that go together. All right, and it's just something that I think is important to do, because we need to make our stashes so that you don't feel like you're wasting anything. Okay, so these are our two tones, or our double-sided paper. There's a couple of things that you can do with it, and one of the things that I'll do, I'll have it darker at the front here, but one of the things that you can do is tear it. Okay, and it's going to be the darkest on my bottom layer. Okay, and you'll see when I've torn it, it's got a white inside. So there's textural stuff that you can do with that. Then I'll have a not so dark layer. All right, but I do think we need some waves thrown in, just because they're cool. All right. So what we'll do is we'll send them through on the edges of some of these, and then we'll tear them off. Okay. Oh, that's what I've got. Something pretty to show you. But things are going to fall and they're going to make big noise. Okay, so bring in the cut and emboss machine. This will go through, and that was really bad twisting that I just did. Oh, my massage lady's going to have to fix that. Oh, that's not very pleasant. Ouch, ouch, ouch. Okay. You need all of these layers for the cutting. Yes, they're still my originals that are in tip-top condition here. Okay. We'll just tear a little bit of this off. Okay, and I'm just going to pop that through there like so. Oops. And I'll have a piece of the blue as well. This is Night of Navy and Coastal Cabana. All right, I'll just send those through. Okay, just sending these through. Oh, I should have sent my cloud through at the same time. Okay, I'll just take them off. Kicker, and let's get us some clouds. So this is just a piece of scrap that I had. It's from a long time ago. Anyone remember the lighthouse? I loved that stamp set. Okay, so we'll just get a couple of clouds. Oh, sorry, it's fuzzy. And we're back. There's one cloud. And I'll get two because you just never know. Oh, how'd you hop? It's quite frequently the way I make this, the dies pop out, is just drop them on my glass mat. Okay. Now, there is currently, oops, that's got a bit chopped off it, but that's okay. We can make that work. There is currently a pre-order for demonstrators happening at the moment, and one of the things in the pre-order that we are able to get is this really new, really nice, I was going to say really new, of course it's new. Demonstrators can pre-order for the upcoming catalogue at the moment. They can also pre-order for the online exclusives that are coming. And there's this really cool set coming called Peaceful Days. And part of Peaceful Days is glimmer. Now, I don't know about you guys, but I love glimmer. And in these Peaceful Garden, I think is sweet. Don't hold me to that. But there's 3 different glimmer papers in here. So we've got the soft sea, the Secret Sea, one that looks almost like Azure Afternoon, and this one here. It's almost where everyone's sort of, it's not silver. It's got like a cloud covery look to it. Like there's the cloud cover ribbon against it. So it's just, yeah, and it's got a bit of a not secret sea, a bit of a soft sea foam look. Now, I don't know about you lot, but I have a glimmer trimmer. this is our old trimmer. You can't get blades for it anymore. And if you find them on eBay, you're putting, like, you'll be, what's it called? Selling off your firstborn or a kidney to be able to get them. So if you don't have a set glimmer trimmer, and the reason why I have a set glimmer trimmer is the glimmer will blunt your blades. So will the acetate sheets. So instead of selling this, I kept it. I have an abundance of old blades in it. So once this blade has really died an ugly death, it will go. And they do need to be, put a bit of blue tack over the blade, put something on the blade so that it doesn't tear your garbage bin thing. Or you can take them to some, like a chemist or somewhere, and you can put them in a sharps bin. Okay, your GP will let you put them in their sharps bin as well. So it is a blade, it is something that needs to be thought about. But I've got heaps of these, for heaps of old blades for my glimmer trimmer, ready to go whenever I need them. Now, I think that this is going to be perfect in it, okay? And I'm going to use scissors on the rest of it. So now we have a few layers, all right? These guys are just going to sort of sit where we want them to sit and amongst the other layers that we're going to tear. Okay, so the card is going to be, whoops, that didn't work very well. The card is going to be layers upon layers of torn up pieces with our little dolphins and our whale added. Okay, now with the torn pieces, actually all the pieces can have the same treatment. Where did they, I've got 1, 2 of those, one of those, one of those, and I need another one of these. What I'm going to do with them is I'm actually going to, because I was looking at this thinking, how can I use that? And I'm going to pop them in, and I'm going to send them through the cut and emboss machine to emboss that little bit of texture on some of them, not all of them, just some of them, because I do want some of them smooth. So I'll just pull out one of each, just so that we've got a variety of different textures. Now this one needs just the base. This is a 3D embossing folder, so it just needs the base and the grey matte, the embossing folder, and I'm just going to pull these 2 in, and I think I'll put them up with the, I don't want the sailing ship to come up in it. I'm going to put them up with the dark side up. Okay, so I don't want the base of the sailing ship, so I just have to be a bit fussy. Now, so there is an embossed side and a debossed side. Something to keep in mind when you're doing any technique, if you want to do them with a technique. If you want the embossed side, so the main feature poking up, you want to be on the Stampin' Up side, okay? If you want the main feature poking down, that's your debossed side, all right? So in this case, I'm wanting the dark side up to have the emboss, because I'm going to shave it a little bit, just to add another bit of a, I don't know, what's the word? Bit of texture. Texture's always good. Which is why this multiple layer business works for me quite nicely, and that's why I like it essentially. Okay, so now you'll see when some people complain about how the 3D embossing folders can fracture the paper a little bit, I actually want that effect. So it gives us like a white edge. This is just a normal emery board. You can then come along and you can actually make it better. So it does look more like what I saw out there in the ocean, because it wasn't smooth. We've had big storms here recently over the last week while we're away. There were some days they actually cancelled while watching because there was no one out there. Mind you, there was people out there swimming and surfing. They were nuts. The beach was closed at one stage and there were still people out there surfing. But each their own, go figure. Okay, so we've got a couple of varieties of pieces of paper that we can add to layer us up. Okay, and we've got some clouds. Now, this cloud that we've chopped off, that's okay. That can go over there on the edge. Right. Why am I putting it on white? Because you know what? It just adds a bit of layer. Okay, where did my dolphin go? Oh, there it is. We can't lose this little guy, but we'll take these away because we don't need them anymore. All right, we've also got we've got to put a sentiment on this. So what we're going to do when we're layering things up, we need to work out where we want things. Our whale is the furthest away because let me tell you, they were far away. They still look pretty decent size, but they were far away. All right, and I want these guys with this pattern to be at the top. Now, whether you want, it depends on which side you want, the light or the dark, doesn't matter. Okay, I just like the fact that they're a bit bubbly. Now, if you've got on the back, you'll find that you can smooth it over with your emery board a bit because of the way that, it'll be a bit hard to tell, it's now got a little bit of a white edge, okay? And if I, well, actually might be able to see it better if I do it on here. You just get dust everywhere, so just be aware of it. So you see what I mean? You get like this white edge, okay? And it looks really cool. So, all right, if I pop that there, that stamping that I did makes no difference now, okay? Because let me tell you, that's about all I saw of the whale, let me say. But we don't want it to be like that for our card, okay? So I'm going to say that the whale popped out of the water, but even though he didn't. We might add a little bit of extra colour to him. This one is Night of Navy. This is all going to get covered. See what I mean when you start it straight on there? And I just want to push a little bit of that colour up there. Just to, I'll just have a little bit over here. And we might have a little bit over here, which I'm going to add a cloud to. Just because I can, you know, as you do. All right. So now that'll just stop that from being so wide under there, okay? And this one's just going to get glued straight on. Oh, this feels a little bit empty. Oh, I was cutting one up yesterday because I was making a big poster of like a board, and I was cut one of these open because I thought I needed lots, but I didn't want to waste any. All right. Just pop that there. I'm going to end up with glue absolutely everywhere. Then this guy, actually, we might pop that one on next. I did want the lighter to be up there. That's right. Okay. Just seeing how I can get these things that I want to do to work. Because I really wanted that at the bottom. All right, so let's see. I really want the navy at the bottom. Okay. And then we're going to have a little bit of Coastal Cabana. And sometimes it's just a matter of playing with it until you've worked out where you want some things to sit. Okay. I just know that I need my bottom piece to be square. So I'll just pull this again. Square and flat. Okay. So this is going to end up on the bottom. All right. So you're going to end up there. With this guy. And then this guy. And then this guy. And this guy's going to end up on the bottom. All right. So there's lots and lots of layers happening there. This one here needs to sit in here, as far as I'm concerned. I've got a big gap up there. I don't necessarily want that large gap up there. So that's because this piece tore funny on me. Let's even her up a bit. Just tear a bit more paper, as they say. Okay, glue that one on. And you're thinking, hold on, Courtney, you haven't got your dolphin. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten him. But I do want him a little bit higher than these guys, so. All right. And then we're going to go with that one. Okay, and then what I'm going to do with my dolphin is he's actually going to get some shape. All right, because my dolphin is going to be sitting above the waves, I'm actually going to give my dolphin some shape. So I've essentially drawn a line for my horizon, or so that I know where to cut it out. There's no dies that go with this set because it's made so you can make it sort of any size to fit any size card that you want. All right, so he's going to sit about there. And then this piece here is going to go here. And we're going to continue to layer, okay? With this piece on the bottom is going to actually have some dimensionals under it, all right? Okay, so we'll glue this one down, and it's just a matter of gluing them down as you go. And they're looking very messy along the edges, but you know what? That's okay, because we're going to trim all those edges up as we near the end. Okay, I might put some dimensionals under this guy. All right, just because I can. And what you're going to watch is I'm actually only going to put them under the dolphin, right? So he's going to sit here. I'm going to put a bit of glue along here because I only want my dolphin sticking up. I don't necessarily want this big white strip sticking up. Just take all those off. And we're going to turn him over. Okay, and you're thinking, well, how's that going to work? Quite easily. All right, dolphin sticks up, but everybody else sticks down. What you do need to do is make sure that that is a straight line. Okay, and then we can continue with our shaping. No, I want that down there. Okay, so this one's going to go here. Okay, I'll just pop that on there. Look, squishy, allows room for movement a bit. Right. I learned lots of stuff while I was away. Did you know that whales and dolphins, as they come to the surface, they leave what's called a footprint? I didn't know that. So I found that most interesting. Let's go with, no, that way. Yeah, so the guy that was that took us on our whale watching thing was telling us they leave a footprint, which is, it looks like a big flat surface behind them, which I found most interesting because I thought it was pretty. I was just impressed. And they had a guy up at the lighthouse telling them where the whales were, so that, and they could see where they were traveling based on the footprint that they were leaving, which I just was, yeah, I'm like going, oh, wow, that's so interesting. And they left this, it looked like this big glass flat ring because the water was quite choppy. Had a couple of people got a bit sick on the boat, which is always so appealing. It's funny, all my years of nursing, there's a couple of things I can't do. I can't do vomit and I can't do spit. There's nothing worse, because I worked in respiratory for a while there. There's nothing worse than people when they clear their throat to spit. Just respiratory really outdid me for that one. So you'll see there's lots and lots of layers. Now, the other thing you'll see is it's really messy on the side. So what we're going to do is we're just going to get our snips and we're going to use our piece of white cardstock that we've got there as our guide, and we're going to snip off our edges. And we're going to try not to cut too much into there. Okay. And this side. Because you've got a straight edge as a guide. This will not go through your trimmer because of all the layers that we've put on it. Okay. Now, what I couldn't decide, because I was going to, oh, there's glue there. What I couldn't decide is what color I'm going to use as my background. So we've got Night of Navy. Looks good. We've got Coastal Cabana. Also looks good. Oh, actually, I really like that. And we've got Pool Party. Why did I bring Pool Party? Because Pool Party is like a lighter shade of Coastal Cabana, and the other side of the Coastal Cabana, oh, that looks good too. Too many decisions, guys. Oh, which one do I want? Let's go with Coastal Cabana and Pool Party. Oh, I've chosen two. Wonder why. Okay, you're going to figure it out in a second. We're going to go with Coastal Cabana just because we can, just so that we're not doing another bright dark blue card. If you feel that you need to put some ribbon on here, knock yourself out. This will go beautiful. It's like a faux linen-y type look. That one there is Cloud Cover. The Secret Sea, which is really dark, would have also looked fabulous. Personally, I don't think it needs it there. Okay. I am going to put my clouds up here. I'm going to straighten that cloud up. All right. Okay, and because there's a little bit of blue behind them, you can see that you can see the clouds. They sort of stick out, which is good. So let me just do that before I do my base. This guy's going to go on first, and he's going to go on flat. Nice big fluffy clouds. This guy's going to go on with some dimensioners, and the reason why it's going on second is because it's higher, but also I'm going to be able to then trim her up. Okay. Does anyone else have big troubles with dimensionals all over the house? Because let me tell you, I find them in the weirdest spots. But since I've been doing this and putting that pile straight into my garbage bin, there's less to find. Okay, just saying. And then I'm going to cut that cloud off. All right, looks like it, just like it was meant to be there. Okay. Now, blending these two things together, it looks like we're like, what are we going to put as a sentiment on there? Well, you know what? In here, there's a great little sentiment. Ahoy. It is just, you know, one of those things that just goes, oh, hello, here I am. Okay, so we're going to pull out ahoy and we're going to use it because you can send ahoy for anything. It's a hello. It's a fun way to say hello. There it is there. Okay, and I need, oh, look, how big is it? No, too small. Let's find, oh, his piece. Oh, that's going to be cutting it fine, but that's okay. I'm sure we can make that work. Okay, and, oh, I think we might just use Night of Navy to tell you the honest. Oh, actually, let's see what cloud colour looks like, because we can always get some more. Might be a bit pale. I think it's a bit pale, a bit wishy-washy. So I like my sentiments to stand out. I don't want to use black though, and balmy blue is not going to cut it. So let's head to the night and navy. And I'm thinking my paper is a little bit small. Let me see if I can, yeah, because I'm going to cut it out. So it doesn't matter that it's crooked. Okay. So I'm just going to go quite roughly around it. Move the paper, so not your scissors, because if you move the paper, you get a smoother cut. All right. Whereas if you move the scissors, the cut ends up quite jagged. I've got a few friends that really don't like fussy cutting anything. But you know what? Each their own. I am a very big fan of it, I will admit. How cool does that look? Right. And you can stick it just about anywhere. It can be up here in the clouds, it can be here, but I am going to do it down there. The other way to look really good would be embossed on here. So, you know, just saying. Let's pop some adhesive on the back of this and start to stick this guy together. Okay. Open it up so that it's straight. Okay. It's looking pretty good. See, that'd even fit like quite nicely up here. But we are going down the bottom down there. And I'm going to put some dimensions under it. So you will need your minis. Where are they hiding? I had them here a minute ago, didn't I? Here they are. Oh, I think they're even going to be too big. Guess what? It's going on flat. Because that word is tiny. Okay. All right. Now, do you think it needs anything else? It's got no bling. It's got no ribbon. And to me, it's missing it. So, because we're not going to do ribbon, I am going to do a little bit of bling just because I can. Oh, we're going to put glimmer on it. Oh my gosh, I forgot. I pulled it out special. All right, guess what? I've got blue on there. I'm going to show you. I wanted to put a little bit of glimmer on there. Okay. So, essentially I finished my card, but I did want to put a little bit of glimmer on here. And because I've already put the card on, all right, now you can tear the glimmer. It's not as easy to tear as the cardstock, but it does tear. Okay, just so that you. All right, but I really wanted this on here because I really like it. And I think it needed something. Okay, so because I've already put it all together, I'm going to have to trim this down. Okay, I should have put this layer on before. Note to self, put layers on in order and don't forget bits. Okay. So I just trim that down like really heaps. I'm going to tell you, it would have been so much easier to put on beforehand. Right, but it's going to work. Just take you up there. little bit of adhesive on it. And now we're just going to get creative and shove it in. Because it's nice to have a little bit of glitter. I want to put some more under there as well. I don't think it's going to work. Okay, we're just going to have that one little strip. Now, I don't know if you've seen these guys. These are the low profile sparkle dots. They come in 3 different colors. There's 210 of them on here. So we've got a nice, they're in colors. So Darling Duckling. Then there's a nice green, which looks to me like garden green. But then there is Secret Sea, which is really pretty and is going to work very beautifully to add a little bit of sparkle to our dolphins and our whale. All right. And use as many as you like, because you can. But you do need an odd number, right? Just saying. Because odd numbers are what works. Right, just pop those back to the side. You can put some yellow ones up the top if you wanted, but that's not going to work. Now the inside, this is where our stamp set's going to come into play. Now because we've got a basic white card, I will do an extra layer, and we're going to use our water just because we can. All right, because we've got this really nice stamp set and we need to use it. So I'll just take these guys off, pop them up there so they don't get lost. Actually, I'm going to pop the line back on here. Okay, and we've got our water, which is going to go that way with our balmy blue. Okay, so pour our inside. Now on our envelope, I hadn't thought about the envelope too much. I'm also going to put the dolphin in here. Okay, and we'll do him. Actually, I might do him in Night of Navy this time, which has developed some legs. All right. 1, 2. Okay, guess what? He's going to have to be in black. Oh, no, here it is. Found it. Stop looking. All right. And then that line, there is also a shorter version. Okay, so that you can see that there. So there's a little version as well. And I just do that. It just highlights some of those wavy bits. Okay, all right. On the envelope, that's not the envelope, here's the envelope. On the envelope, we're going to have that little dolphin. Down here. And then, where's that stamp set gone? There is this really cute heart. Oh, I need another block. All right, so there's this really cute heart, which we will go like so with. And then we'll go like so, across the bottom of our envelope. Okay, because he's a very creative dolphin. You can see that he's jumped up there and he's created a heart with his waves. Okay, so then this can get stuck on the inside here. It's not empty. I'm telling you it's not empty. I know that it's not empty. I opened one yesterday thinking that there wasn't much in it, and it was huge, like had heaps still left in it. I often do it when I often open them. When I say open them, I cut them along here, and then use I've got a silicone scoop that I just got from one of the junkie shops, cheap shops, that I use to then scoop all the what's left over out. Okay. Put that there. And then that piece there can then go on the inside of our card. All right. Take the chunky bit off because we don't need it. And that piece is going to go in there. Okay. And there you have today's combination of sunrise sailing and along these lines. How cool does that turn out? What fun. All right. Well, it's so good to see you all today. Thank you for joining me, and I look forward